Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal X Expansion Pack. I am, yes, Mr. Eddie V. Joining me is my wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas, and bossman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig.
That's me.
Hello, guys.
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm here. I hope.
Doing good.
I'm hoping Skype just works.
Yes. let us pray. Amen.
Can I get an amen? Nah.
Amen. Come on, Gaming Jesus. Let's get this together. Or Gaming Jesus.
Jesus.
So, and
Yes.
Pretty Jesse, you just
That's how.
Gaming
Hey,
Jesus.
well, that's how my name is spelt in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're
Jesus.
telling me Jesus' English name is Jesse?
Yes. No, it's Jesus. It is spelt, but from what I understand, I think it's spelt Jesus. Like Jesus is spelt Jesus.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And but that's also the I think that's how you spell Jesse though. Like that, like Jesse is the name for Jesus in English is Jesse, but it also can mean it's spelt like Jesus.
Huh.
So it's like it means Jesse. Jesus means Jesse in English, I believe, but it's spelt like Jesus. But because it's in Spanish, it doesn't actually read as Jesus.
Okay.
Welcome to Arsenal X Spanish class.
And this is the thing about it, because while we were talking about it, Jessica say, hello, yes. And I'm just like, is he doing the voice of Jesus? I'm like, that actually
No.
works.
Oh man.
So, we're here, guys, to answer your questions. And if you guys want to send us some questions, comments, thoughts, anything, you can email it at arsenalxpodcast@gmail.com. So for today's question, how do you guys want gears in Halo to evolve? Do you think they have run their course? And this is from Marcus Shaw. So let's tackle the first one. How do you guys want Gears of War in Halo to evolve?
I mean, I don't even know where you go, right? Like I think Halo, the easy way to go would be something like Rainbow Six Siege or Titanfall 2, or I'm even continue doing what it's doing, but it needs to do something with gameplay and kind of upgrading your gear or your armor or something in a meaningful way, where everything in Halo right now is pretty cosmetic, right? Like and the weapons are the same, and like you can't really upgrade your weapons in a meaningful way, or you can't really upgrade your armor in a meaningful way. And like I don't need Halo to become Destiny. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more like the Titanfall 2, or even like you look at Call of Duty or something, and give like your weapons a perk system. Maybe get a red dot sight. Maybe get a silencer or an extra ammo clip or something attached to your weapon, and like really play around with, because look, there's very limited weapons in Destiny. No, there's not.
Hello.
I mean, well, in Destiny there is too, but that's a different topic for another day.
Right.
In Halo, you've got like, instead of like 3, 4, 5 different types of assault rifles, you have the assault rifle, you have the battle rifle, you have the DMR. Like, give players some options to play around with those weapons. That Halo is such a storied franchise and such a fun franchise to be in, and it's a little behind on the times. I'm not like, as a game that, as a series that like really progressed first person shooters on console, like right now they're a little behind, and they have a ton of amazing game modes. That's not the problem. They have an amazing campaign. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is that sense of progression as you're playing and really playing towards something. And Call of Duty, like, say what you will about Call of Duty, but they do a good job of letting players see like progressing towards something. You know, Jesse, I'm sure you can attest to Rainbow Six where like you're progressing towards something. And in
Yeah.
Halo, there's nothing really to progress towards except for, you know, that the level of your character. And you know, that's fine, but like your armor doesn't really have any meaningful impact where like I would like to see like armor abilities come back in some sort of way, you know? Uh and you know, I don't need one of them to be sprint or anything, but like one of them could like allow you to have a hover jump. One of them could allow you to uh I don't know, there's different things you could do, like hold a shield in front of you. You know, there's different things you could do with armor abilities that could affect gameplay but not really like make something broken when you use it so much, you know? Like that's how I'd love to see Halo evolves in some way. And as for Gears, like, man, I don't really know what you would do. It would almost be a similar thing, you know, like weapon wise, because like I feel like with the lore of the games, like, and they pour so much time into the lore of these games that like you're almost limited to what you can do with the weapons. But like if you kind of just open it up and allow the developers to have some freedom with customizing things, even if it's just a little bit, it would go a long way. And like, oh, I want that red dot sight for my battle rifle. I need to do this many things with this weapon, and like, you know, have little goals. And that's something Call of Duty's always been really good at showing you. Is like, here's these little mini goals for you to achieve this item. And like maybe if you achieve all these goals or all these like this list of mini achievements, like you'll get a quote unquote pro version of that gun and a different skin for that gun that shows you like, hey, I did this. So I mean, for me, like that's it, that would go a long way, because like, you know, I like games that allow me to progress. Like I in theory like Destiny. So that's just my idea. Yeah, somebody else can go. I feel like I just kind of like just kept going.
No. Um, I'm gonna go Jesse first. I kind of would like to see Halo treated as like Vanquish. I was just thinking about this for a bit, and I would love to see it be almost like a fast-paced kind of s- uh like a high score kind of game where you can go to different areas in the level, like it's somewhat open world within that level to find more pieces for your gun. So your progression level idea, uh, Corey, and maybe find blueprints or chips or something, being able to take stuff from an enemy base or anything,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and like incorporate it and returning it back to your base and doing something like that. But I could just see like sliding around or a little bit wall running, but being able to hang on and just shoot differently, like actually see your character. Like it's third person over the shoulder, and I think third person over the shoulder would definitely work better in Halo than most third person shooters. Like, cause if I do it with Gears, the Vanquish level doesn't work. Like with Gears itself, I think it's fine, but they need better weapons. Like they need to study Titanfall 2 for weapons, where every weapon matters in that game. There definitely needs to be four player for a single player campaign. And you could go into areas where everybody splits apart. So everybody has to contribute in order to progress in the level.
Like
Like,
if you're playing like 4-player co-op, like maybe there's like puzzles that you can only unlock with 2 people or 4 people, and like
yeah,
kind of like, again, Destiny, but like there's certain things in Destiny raids that like make your whole team kind of have a certain job, and when everybody does their job correctly, it unlocks a piece of this level where you can go in and get, special blueprints or special tokens or whatever. Gosh, I'm sorry, tokens. No tokens. Don't do tokens. I have nightmares about Destiny progression, guys. I'm sorry. But like you go in and like you get special pieces for your gun or special attachments, and and maybe it's not randomized, which would be a great idea. Where you actually feel like you're working towards something and you're rewarded for working towards that goal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry that I keep mentioning
no,
Destiny, guys. It makes me sad.
no, that's fine. That's fine.
I have some real
Oh,
bad beef about Destiny lately, and it's, man, maybe by the time this episode comes out they'll fix it, but at this point it's like,
no,
so
I
sad.
I heard about the latest news about it, with the
Yeah.
holiday thing. That's
Oh,
they
I
still
didn't. I
haven't
didn't
learned
read
it
anything
yet.
about the holiday thing. I'm talking about like the engrams and how broken the new system is, and like how
Oh
the
shoot!
engrams or cells is supposed to guarantee you an item that you don't already have. And both times I bought one, both times I've gotten duplicates. So I'm very upset.
Their yes, their holiday event has been like microtransaction heavy, and
I mean,
people.
Yeah.
that their holiday events have always been microtransaction heavy. I don't know why people are just now being mad about it.
Well, no, it's not so
Because
much that it's they screwed up in the progression. Like when you level up, you're still getting the same amount. Like it was the double XP thing too, where you were getting, even though you were getting more XP, they changed it so the bar takes longer to fill up. So it's technically like nothing was actually really ever done.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
screwed up a whole bunch of things like that, I guess.
Yeah, and
yeah,
their 3 of coins don't work. Like they just don't work at all. Even though they're
Yeah.
supposed to boost your whatever. But anyways, let's get back to Halo and Gears.
okay, but yeah, Jesse, what would you like to see?
Yeah, I like unfortunately I'm just gonna be recycling a lot of what Corey said, but like, I haven't really got into the Call of Duty games as much, lately, but it was never to do with like the way or the style of the games. Like a lot of people didn't like them because you could climb on walls and all that kind of stuff. That
Mhm.
didn't really bother me. Um, Mostly my problem issues with Call of Duty is their lack of server based, online play. Like it's still, you can still have hosting and stuff like that. And I've way too many times you can tell who's host because they're the only ones who went 35-2 or whatever. And so, but yeah, but like as far as the way they do their games though, it's the reason that I loved it. Like I love the idea of having guns, and as you progress you can unlock different guns, and if you don't like that gun, well then you can just keep on progressing and get a different gun. But if you do like that gun, you can just work on it and try to progress that gun to unlock the attachments. And like I do like the idea of having some kind of perk system for your armor and stuff like that. I'd rather it be just like minor tweaks where, like kind of where you'd maybe lose vulnerability in a certain area or whatever, but you would be more vulnerable in a different area. And just like like have like certain helmets would make it where if someone shot you with a sniper rifle in the head, it would take 2 shots to kill someone, or like, but then in on the other hand, that would mean that their chest area would be a little bit more, you know, easier to take them down. No, not like majorly, but
Mhm.
it would just make them a little bit more easier to be killed shooting in the chest or whatever. So just kind of stuff like that, like where you can basically build your character's strengths where you'd want it, and just because it's strong in a certain area doesn't mean that it's going to be impossible to take down. It's just like the ability to build your character to your strengths. So I think that's kind of what I would like to see, is just a little bit more personalization, I guess, of your characters, and building to your strengths. So
Okay. Well, let's tackle the second part of this question. Do you think they have run their course? Gears, yes. Halo, if they could tell a better story and probably integrate the weapon progression, I think I think it could go on for one more game because I there's something about Halo I still just don't like when you run out of ammo, you have to go get a new gun and you're kind of stuck with most of that gun that you don't want to use for part of that level.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really like that either. And it's like I think the ideas that we were talking about is like I think that would help that system a lot
Hmm.
because like it would help you, you know, find items that would help you with the weapons that you want to use and like uh in terms of like Halo, I think any game series has run its course if it doesn't innovate enough. And like
Yes.
it's really hard to innovate on what Gears already does so well. It's the Forza, like I think Gears of War has the same exact problem that Forza does, where the gameplay and the level designs and everything are so good that how do you even innovate? How do you even try to innovate on something that's already that good? Whereas like first person shooters, there's so many different things you could do, and Halo has the wiggle room, especially now since it's kind of behind the times on what FPS is offering. Like they have the wiggle room, whereas like Gears is kind of stuck because like it's a cover based it's a cover based shooter. There's no like jumping or anything. Armor doesn't really affect anything. Like I mean, you could add like a similar thing like armor abilities to Gears, but like
Yeah.
how would you like fit that into a cover based thing? I don't know. Do you put it in like the grenade slot where like you throw a grenade and it's like a shield that you throw up and then you like can like avoid enemies that way? Like how do you even do that? Like the chainsaw idea, they perfected it in Gears 1, chainsaw weapon, and it's like how do you do better?
They could do like they did in Siege, where you have a shield that you connect to your gun that makes it so it's harder to get headshots. So you've got to kind of shoot around wherever the shield isn't blocking.
Hmm.
Like so, just have more stuff like that, like actual like perks for certain characters or things that you could pick to to have as a as an option for your gun for like certain guns, maybe even, they could even do where only certain guns have certain perks that you can, work towards unlocking or whatever.
Yeah, I think the only way like to spinning off from your point, I think like maybe if Gears added a class-based system into their game, but at the same time it's like you don't want to change that because like people like Gears for what it is, but at the same time like I think a class-based system would really help. And like one player is their primary function is being a medic, and one player is a sniper, and one person is like a tanky assault character, and the next player is like a demolition shotgun guy. Like that's really the only way I could see like a squad based shooter like evolving out of what Gears does and almost make it that. But like how do you implement that into something like Gears where like for 5 games it's been this, everybody's basically the same, you know?
Well, this is like they try to change stuff in Gears 4 with at when you get the box and you take the stuff out, like pay whatever thing it is, which they just I think the bad part of that system in Gears 4 is that they didn't really teach new players who've never worked with anything about that. So you were just placing stuff, not knowing what it was going to do, expecting people who played the Gears game knows how to run that. Um,
Yeah.
they would probably the sad thing about Gears is that they would have to remove Sorry about that. They would have to remove the foundation of what made Gears of War in order for it to evolve. So it can't be a cover-based third-person shooter anymore.
Yeah.
It, they can't just use only two people for a four-man team. Like the guns and the chainsaw that they use, like that has to be thrown out. Uh, Gears of War 4 would actually, sadly to say, I think I mean not Gears of War 4. I think the Gears system will actually need a new graphic style, like art style. Like they would have to build Gears of War from the ground up and make it into something completely different.
Yeah, I think, maybe not a drastically new art style because they've already kind of like toned it down a little bit from what
Hmm.
Gears 1 was to like what Gears 4 is now. Like they're not like roid bros going out there shooting stuff anymore,
Yeah.
But like I think another thing too where Gears 4 kind of missed was like you had a chance to create some new threat, and it's really like evolved locust is pretty much what they are, and like they missed that. I think they missed that, and like now the story they're trying to tell with Gears, this new Gear series, is like they have to continue that. Like they have to, like
Yeah.
unless they totally scrapped everything and just restarted. But like you don't want to do that because like I love Gears story. Like I think that's the one of the best parts about it. Those characters and their uh, interactions with each other and stuff. And I still think like the class based thing is the way to go. They've already set it up that way with the characters. You know, story wise having these special abilities where like Dom is or not Dom. Baird is like the sniper and demolitions guy, and Cole is like the big beefy tanky guy, and Marcus and Dom are kind of like hanging back assault. They're like the assault guys. So like I think the only way Gears theoretically could evolve from here is like a class based system with what Jesse said earlier, where what Siege does, where you could have a shield attachment to a weapon or some kind of weird attachments you can attach to your already existing guns, similar to what you know Republic Commando did almost, where like you could have one gun but it could function in 3 or 4 separate ways depending on what types of attachments you had on it. So
Do you think Gears should do it almost like a choose your own adventure in a sense?
mm,
Like you could choose different paths.
no, no, just because like it's already part of a trilogy, and like I don't think they want to go the Mass Effect route where like your choices affect the next game. I mean, maybe you could have
Mhm.
like certain chapters kind of say, oh, you did this, so it takes you through a different path through a level. But I don't think they want to do like the Mass Effect thing where like it
Yeah.
actually affects the next game.
Do you think 343 Studios should look at Resistance 3 for level progression for Halo?
I don't know. I didn't play. I have never played Resistance, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Resistance 3 I think is a good way because it's mostly like when it's almost like an RPG for your gun, and all you got to really do is just use that gun a lot,
Yeah,
like while you're going to
that's
that level,
that's
and then
kind
it
of
improves.
that's kind of what I was talking about. That's kind of what Call of Duty multiplayer stuff does, where like if you use the gun a certain amount of times and do certain things with this weapon, like you
Hmm.
start unlocking attachments and stuff to upgrade it, and then once you do like all the special things for it, you get like the pro version of the gun or whatever. Yeah, so like yeah, almost make like your weapon like RPG your weapon, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think like the thing is with Halo, if they did it right, I think they could have that whole progression style thing and have but still keep like your typical like the like rocket launchers and the tank weapons that are like basically can take out vehicles and stuff like that. Leave those still things that you have to fight for on the map, but but the other guns that they have, instead of you fighting for those on the map, you would have to just kind of pick and choose and decide, like what guns you want to progress and do just like you do in Call of Duty and stuff. I think that would be the best way to go about it because, that's the thing is we also got to remember that there's vehicles and stuff like that in the game too. So some of that stuff you'd want to still leave on the map to defend yourself. Sorry, in that way. But yeah, like regular guns that you start out with would be something that you work on and pick and choose, like what works for you best. I think would be the best way.
Well, Jesse, do you think they have run their course?
I'm kind of like with Corey. I mean, it's unfortunately they're like I think they're doing everything the way that they're doing it is like perfect, and other than just making new story and stuff like that, as far as the story stuff goes, I just stick to the way they're doing it now. But like you said, Edward, I think that would be awesome to have like make it where playing as multiple people would change like certain things about it. Like there'd be certain stuff that you can do playing as multiple, as playing together with friends and stuff, and it would kind of change things and be almost a different style of game or whatever. But
Okay. Well, everybody, that's going to do it for Expansion Pass. As always, this is NGR Radio's Xbox podcast, Arsenal X, that you guys can check on YouTube and other podcast apps. I am your host, Eddie V. This is Mr. Jesse Douglas, Bossman Corey Dirrig. As always, we throw up the X because we're about to throw down. Actually, we're about to exit out. See you guys next time on Arsenal X Expression Pass.